The world is a symphony of sound, a constant barrage of noise competing for our attention. We are bombarded with messages from the moment we wake until we lay our heads down at night. In this cacophony, it can be challenging to hear the still small voice of God. Yet, Psalm 37 verse 7 reminds us, "Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for Him." This ancient wisdom holds the key to unlocking divine communication in our modern lives. It is in the stillness, in the quieting of our minds and hearts that we create space for God to speak. But how do we find stillness in a world that seems determined to keep us distracted? How do we quiet the clamor of our own thoughts and the constant demands of our busy lives? The journey begins with a conscious choice, a deliberate decision to turn down the volume of the world and turn up the volume of our spirits. It is in this sacred space of intentional quietude that we open ourselves to the possibility of hearing God's voice. Within each of us, a constant conversation unfolds. Three distinct voices vie for our attention, each seeking to guide our thoughts, emotions, and ultimately our actions. The first voice, the loudest and most insistent, is the voice of our ego. It is the voice of our fears, our insecurities, and our desires. It whispers doubts, amplifies worries, and urges us to seek fulfillment in fleeting pleasures. This voice, though familiar and often persuasive, is not the voice we should ultimately heed. The second voice is the voice of the world. It speaks to us through the constant stream of information we encounter daily, the news, social media, advertisements, and even the opinions of those around us. This voice can be alluring, promising success, happiness, and belonging if we conform to its standards. However, it often leads us down paths of comparison, competition, and discontentment, leaving us feeling empty and unfulfilled. The third voice, the quietest yet most profound, is the voice of God. It speaks to us in the depths of our being and the stillness of our hearts. His voice is gentle, loving, and wise, guiding us towards truth, peace, and purpose. But because it is subtle and easily drowned out by the other voices, we must cultivate the habit of listening intently. God seldom shouts, He doesn't need to. His voice, though gentle, carries the weight of eternity. He speaks in the language of whispers, nudges, and gentle impressions. He communicates through the beauty of creation, the wisdom of Scripture, and the still small voice within. To hear Him, we must attune our hearts to His frequency, quieting our minds and opening ourselves to His presence. Imagine a dewdrop clinging to a blade of grass. It reflects the vastness of the sky, holding within its tiny form the immensity of the heavens. This is how God often speaks to us, not in thunderous pronouncements but in the quiet moments of reflection, in the subtle synchronicities of life, in the gentle stirrings of our hearts. His voice is present in the stillness of the morning, in the quiet moments before sleep, and in the spaces between our thoughts. It is in these sacred moments of silence that we create the space for Him to make Himself known.